regardless who's in there?
We really don't know yet what they're going to bring to the table since it's going to be his first game, but we're going to have to prepare for him like we did last year.
DeAndre Baker said after the SEC championship last year that y'all simply don't have time to prepare for two different quarterbacks. Is that the case this week? Is it a little bit different knowing that you have like kind of that blueprint based on their system?
We do have the blueprint for their system, so we have to just go on based on what the information we get. If they do get a new quarterback, based on we know who scrambles and who doesn't, and we know kind of what their background is each, but we don't know how they're going to use them.
What are the differences in starting the season with a conference opponent on the road?
I love it, actually. It's SEC, man. It's here. It's right in your face. So you got to kind of attack it, like the season's here. It's time to get going. You got to get that message out through the guys.
Is it more pressure knowing it's a division game already? If you guys aren't ready right at the jump, it could cost you.
Pressure's privilege, man. Y'all know this. But no, it's no pressure, man. It's just another game.
Jerry, you were really high on the havoc rate after the first scrimmage. How do you feel about it now heading into the first game?
Still got to be high on that havoc rate, man. We'll see how we do after this first game. And we've been preaching it, so I expect it to happen.
What are your thoughts about Nakobe Dean, and what are his strengths?
He's just so fast, man. And that's his biggest strength is his speed, and he's a smart kid, too. So he's learned the system really fast as a freshman, and then his speed on the field is what really makes him different.
JR, is there a part of you as a defensive player that likes the challenge of going against the guys that Vanderbilt has returning on offense to open the season?
Yeah, when you go against great guys in the SEC, you love it. And that's part of the reason why I came here is to go against great talent week in and week out.
How much is that going to benefit this defense going forward in the season versus maybe opening against a non-Power 5 team whose guys aren't, not that they don't have good players, but they aren't on the same level as Lipscomb and all the guys like that?
It's a challenge up front, and it's a challenge that we like to take on, and we just learn from it, and just move on and get better each week.
Young guys like Trayvon, Nakobe, guys like that. This is their first college game, first SEC game. How much is it going to benefit them getting thrown into the fire right away?
They'll learn. They'll be able to get their feet wet, and next week is Sanford, and they'll get a lot more playing time then. And when they go in, I'm just going to tell them to relax and have fun.
What's your description of the level of talent on this team since you first arrived in Athens?
Oh, it's really, really high. We got really lots of depth. Competition brings the best out of everyone. A lot of guys can play, a lot of freshmen that can play early, and a lot of guys that have been here that can play. So everyone's playing at their highest level.
JR, Charlie was over there moments ago talking about how y'all have created more turnovers and havoc in the preseason and in spring. I mean, it sounds like every year a defense would want to do that, but what has been different about this defense as far as that goes so far in these practices?
It's just been preaching it. We keep track of it every day, and we talk about it every day in the meetings. It's something we bring up every day in the meetings, and that's just one of our main goals is to create havoc. So when you preach that, it's going to happen.
JR, so do you remember anything from last time going to Vanderbilt kind of about how there was a big turnout by the Georgia fan base to make that atmosphere kind of unique?
I just expect Georgia fans to travel well all the time. That's what I expect from a fan base. We can go to Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Auburn. I expect them to travel well and bring a lot of people to the house.
What's the cornerback position looking opposite of Stokes?
It's a battle. Even Stokes' position's a battle. My position's a battle. Everyone's position's a battle out there. There's no set starters yet. We're all competing to be the best.
What have you made out of Zamir White, this fall camp and how he sort of adjusted to coming back and getting sort of in full physical football mode?
I'm just really proud of him, coming back from an injury like that and having the confidence to be out there. And he just showed that he's confident in himself and he's ready to get out there and play. And that's something very difficult to do.
Go ahead.
How important is the scout team back when you play a back like Vanderbilt? And how's McIntosh looked in that role? Does he actually resemble the Vandy back?
Oh, scout team is very important. I've been on scout team. Holyfield was on scout team. I mean, you can go down the list. Solomon Kinley was on scout team. So those guys right there were on scout team. It's all about working hard. And McIntosh has done a great job running the ball really hard for us. And it's really an important job to this team to give us a good look.
You're such a student of the game and a mentor to the younger players. Has it been a challenge for you to not teach too much and to focus on your job as the safety?
Yeah, you catch yourself sometimes teaching a little bit too much, but, you can never teach too much with these guys. It's all about getting time afterwards, and when you're on the field, you got to lock in and when you got to have your own meeting time and you have meeting time with those guys, because I can't do it on my own. I got 4 or 5 other DBs I got to play with, and so if I'm good and they're not good, then what am I doing?
That year you sat out via transfer, how difficult was it for you to not be able to go out there and play on Saturdays?
It was really hard, especially, the season that we had and knowing that I had the talent to be out there. But I saw the end goal. I was here for a bigger purpose, and I knew if I just kept working hard on scout team and just kept busting my butt out there and just really putting the work in, I knew I would be able to play.
So we talked a little bit about the Kobe game. What about Nolan Smith? How has he progressed since the beginning of spring to now?
Well, Nolan, he has relentless effort, and that's one thing you'll find when you ask offensive guys is that Nolan does not give up. He works hard. He's going to run to the ball, and that's one of the things that makes him so good.
So many young receivers. Did you take it upon yourself to make sure they're SEC ready, and how have you seen them kind of come along?
The receivers are doing a great job. Honestly, I think that room with Tyler Simmons and Cager and those older guys that are in there have been doing a great job molding those guys and leading. And, Matt Leonard has done a great job. He's been here for a couple of years, so he knows how to grind. He knows how to work.
Kirby talks a little bit about doing some things by committee, including the receivers. Is that the same thing as if there's one really good person that can lead that position group?
Well, you don't have to be good to lead. You don't have to. Leading is not a rank. It's not how good you are. You don't have to be a senior. So I think those guys have done a great job just coming together as just a receiver group and just deciding what they want to be.
How would you describe the mindset or the mood on a road trip? Kirby was talking about how the older players need to set a standard or set the disposition for the younger players. How would you describe a Georgia road trip?
Well, it's straight business, For me, I'm locked in for the road trip game. You have a long time where you just sit in the hotel and for 6:30, so you're gonna be there for hours and hours. So you can't be locked in for 5 hours. But it's a business trip. You want to relax, but you don't want to relax too much.
So what do you do to occupy your time on a Saturday when it's a night kickoff?
Saturday night kickoff. Well, first on the flight, I got to get me a good movie. So I'm going to watch me a movie on the flight. But I'll wake up early like I do for every game. I try to do the same routine, watch me a game or two of film, call my parents, watch some other games that are going on. Just really relax my mind because I can't be locked in that long.
Is it a challenge, though, for you to fill that day?
It is a challenge because you're like, man, I'm just laying around in this hotel, just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting.
The first time you went against Jim Fromm, either in practice or the first time you met him, or both, is there anything in particular that struck you about him as a freshman on campus?
My first time I went against Jake, it's a couple years ago now. He's just a happy guy. That's the main thing about Jake is he's always happy, he's always singing, and that's the main thing I notice is he's never down, and that's one of the good things I like about him because sometimes I might be having a rough day and I see him and he's just happy and singing and walking around wearing his boots and everything and just puts a smile on my face.
When you think about Jacob Eason's going to start for Washington and Justin Fields going to start for Ohio State, did you make note of that, and are you curious on some level to see how those guys do?
Most definitely. Anytime you got guys that you've worked out with, grinded with, had a season with, those are your brothers for life. So I'm really excited to see what Jacob and Justin are going to do and anyone else that has transferred from here.
Jerry, you decided to come back for your senior season. Has it been kind of settling in over camp that this is your last season and the final chance to accomplish any goals you have?
Yes. I sit back and when I sat in camp, I realized man, I only got 4 months here, and I'm talking to my mom, and she's reminding me wow, we came a long way, and it's almost coming to an end. So, I've been doing a little bit more than not usual, but been doing a little bit more and just really taking it all in, man.
What has been your impressions of game planning and preparing for Keyshawn Vaughn, the Vanderbilt running back?
He runs really hard, and that's one of the main things I've noticed from him. And we played against him. And he just runs hard. He reminds me a little bit of Holyfield. He can bust the ball out. He's a patient runner, and he's a downhill guy.
You mentioned leading a little bit ago. Where is Eric Stokes at as a guy that's a leader of the secondary and a leader of the defense?
Well, Stokes is very smart on the field, and he tries to get those young guys to follow him.